Yo, what's up guys? We're back with another video today, and guys, you know something? We have had many well-rounded fighters throughout the entirety of the UFC history, right? But in current day UFC form, who are the most well-rounded fighters currently today? They don't have to be like the top tier level fighters, right? Some of these guys aren't like championship level, or at least one guy is on here, but I'm more looking at what are the skills these guys have, like can they do something more than just striking, or can they do something more than just wrestling? That's what I'm looking at right now, guys. I'm not looking at someone who's like unstoppable, like Islam. We know Islam's gonna be on here. Let's be real, guys. But I'm looking at fighters who can do more than just one thing only, right, guys? And for that, I have brought 6 UFC fighters on this category. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, now the first person we have here, without a doubt, it's Islam Makhachev. I mean, listen, I don't think anyone is surprised that Islam Makhachev is on here. Islam Makhachev has possibly the most, he's just too unstoppable right now. He has such good sambo wrestling. People always I always say wrestling, but it's sambo wrestling because he comes from Russia. He actually has pretty good striking. I kind of feel like his striking gives me vibes of a little bit of a boxing / Muay Thai type of stance. I don't know if it's 100% that, but it gives me vibes when he fights like that. That's kind of the style I see it as. And also, his submission threats, you know, when he takes you down, there's no way he's gonna not submit you. Like, one way or another, he will submit you, depending on how long it takes, he will eventually get that submission. Really, I would say Islam is probably the most well-rounded fighter of all these guys on here. The only thing that I can think of that he isn't good at is when he gets pushed to the cage, he gets hit a lot in the body, or just in general, he'll get hit in the body a lot. I can think of like when he fought Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier was able to, like, in the pocket, beat up his body really badly. I can think of, especially in the clinching, like he gets hit in the body a lot. But that's really it, honestly. I mean, apart from that, you just have to be better than Islam, basically, in order to beat him. That's literally it. Or you have to be like Volkanovski. Volkanovski in that first fight, I'm going to say right here, I think Volkanovski won that first fight. Very close fight. Very close fight. I will not argue with anyone who says Islam won, but I think Volkanovski won that fight, in my opinion. Alright, now the next person we have here is Charles Oliveira. Now, this one might be a weird one, right? Because when you look at Charles Oliveira, right? Charles Oliveira is just a submission artist. People may just look at him as a submission artist, which he is 100%. Don't get me wrong. He 100% is a submission artist. But he's more than that. He's actually pretty good when it comes to his striking. And this is what I want to get at when it comes to Charles and Topuria, because we got that fight in like less than 2 weeks now. I'm so excited for that fight, but I'm so scared for Charles Oliveira, bro. Like, I'm actually so worried he's gonna get knocked out, because Charles Oliveira, the one thing that he isn't good at is his chin. He gets hit a lot, and he's not like, I wouldn't say he's chinny right now, because, like, he took a lot of shots against Michael Chandler, and he was fine afterwards. But, like, when he got cracked with Poirier or Gaethje, or even Islam, I mean, yes, those guys are big boys. Like, when it comes to that division, they're actually, like, big lightweight fighters. So it's no surprise that he's going to get cracked by them. But when he fights Topuria, I mean, Topuria knocked out Max Holloway, bro. I'm worried he's going to get chinned by Topuria. But at the same time, I feel like Charles Oliveira might low-key beat Topuria, bro. He's a much better jiu-jitsu artist than Topuria. I don't think there's any question about that. I don't think he'll get worried at all when it comes to Topuria taking him down. In fact, I think Charles Oliveira will take down Topuria before him. It's really just the striking and whether Charles Oliveira will want to keep it on the feet. I don't think so. I think if Charles Oliveira is smart, he will try to take down Topuria, because really, Topuria does have wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but we haven't really seen him go up against a high-level jiu-jitsu guy like Charles Oliveira, right? There's Bryce Mitchell, but Bryce Mitchell, I don't think Bryce Mitchell is that crazy when it comes to his wrestling and all that stuff. He's good, but he kind of gets like, he's not as good when he fights other guys who actually know how to handle his grappling and all that stuff. I remember Dan Ige, Bryce Mitchell was using a lot of his grappling then, but it's Dan Ige. Dan Ige is just a boxer and all that stuff. Versus when he fights someone who actually knows how to use jiu-jitsu and grappling, like Topuria or Gene Silva, he fumbles. The only person to actually make Charles Oliveira look weak is Islam Makhachev. That is it. Pretty much everybody else he has dominated in. Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, Beneil Dariush. I mean, Beneil Dariush, that's actually a pretty good, like, performance, I'd say. Because Beneil Dariush, man, people forget, man. Beneil Dariush was actually on a run before he fought Charles Oliveira. Okay, now getting off of the Charles versus Poirier fight, I just want to get a little bit into that. I think Charles Oliveira is actually very well-rounded. He has good striking, especially in his last fight against Michael Chandler. He showed much better, like, improvements, I feel. He was able to keep range and distance from him. He was using a lot of Muay Thai kicks and all that stuff. That was really good. He's always had that, though, in fairness, though. Charles Oliveira's always had Muay Thai fights. He's always had, like, that fighting style when he fights someone. It's always been there. I mean, look at the Gaethje fight. Look at the Dustin Poirier fight. Beneil Dariush. You know, he's always had that style. And something I really thought was very interesting is Charles Oliveira, I've noticed, he doesn't really, in his last couple fights, I feel, he doesn't try to take down opponents. He'll try and get a submission off of them, and then he'll put them on the ground, right? He'll try to get a submission, like getting on the back or something, and then take them down. But he doesn't do, like, a traditional takedown, like how other fighters do, like a double leg or a single leg. But against Michael Chandler, he was able to just body him when it comes to the takedown. I don't think Charles Oliveira, he is 100% his best, like mixed martial arts is jiu-jitsu. But what I'm trying to get at is that he can do more than that. All right, next up we have here is Ian Garry. Now, let me explain why I have Ian Garry here a little bit. Is Ian Garry a championship fighter, in my opinion? No. But I think he can be a top-level contender. I think he has a wide range of skill sets, and that's why I have him here. Because remember, I'm not putting fighters who are just the most well-rounded fighters on this list. Most of them are, but I'm just counting fighters who can do more than just one aspect of fighting. And for me, for Ian Garry, especially in his last two fights, he's shown that he can do more than just be a kickboxer / boxer. He can actually grapple. He can actually do jujitsus. He can do kickboxing. He can do boxing. You know, he can do much more than just like striking on the feet. All right, next up we have here is Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Umar Nurmagomedov. I think he's annoying. I think the fact that he thought he won against Merab is just delusional in my opinion. And the fact he's saying he broke his hand is what cost him the fight. Mind you, Merab also broke his back as well and had a lot of injuries going into that fight as well. So delusional fuck this guy is, honestly. With that being said, Umar is very talented as a fighter. He's actually very well-rounded compared to, like, his cousin Khabib, because Khabib was just a wrestler. That was it. Nothing else was, like, crazy with him. He wasn't, like, great anywhere else. It was just his wrestling was so damn dominant that allowed him to be so damn good. With Umar, it's different. Yes, he has the sambo wrestling, and he's good at that, but I wouldn't say he's, like, crazy like Islam. He's not a better wrestler than Islam, as my opinion. These guys can actually like handle his wrestling. I mean, Corey Sandhagen was able to do all right with him, and Corey Sandhagen is just a primarily striker. When it came to Merab was able to handle his wrestling pretty well. With that being said, these guys are top-level fighters, right? When he uses his wrestling for any other fighter, he's very dominant with his wrestling. And he's not only just a wrestler, he's actually a decent striker / kickboxer. I think that the way he fights is very interesting, and I think he's pretty good when striking, I would say. I think that's a dangerous style to have. When you're a really good striker / good sambo wrestler, that's a very dangerous combo to have. Despite Corey Sandhagen doing well when it came to his wrestling and not getting like greatly dominated when it came to it, he couldn't really like perform good on the feet because he was always getting worried about Umar taking him down. And that's what made Umar do good on the feet. He was able to outstrike Corey Sandhagen on the feet because, in my opinion, his wrestling was always there as a threat for Corey Sandhagen. Now, versus Merab, yes, Umar was able to take him down a couple times. He was. And yes, he was dominating him on the feet in the first 2 rounds. But Merab was just able to put on a pressure on Umar. And that's the thing. Umar is a better skilled fighter than Merab is. In my opinion, I think that's just a fact. But the reason he lost that fight is just Merab's just cardio is just too damn impossible. Nobody can take this guy's pressure. Not even a Dagestani in plot armor like Umar Nurmagomedov could not handle Merab. Alright, now also staying in bantamweight, we have Petr Yan. In my opinion, guys, I think out of all these fighters, maybe besides Islam Makhachev, Petr Yan probably has the deepest tool set of skills he has. Like, Petr Yan genuinely can do almost practically anything, honestly. He has incredibly good Muay Thai, great boxing. He can actually, just because he's a striker, that don't mean he can take people down. He can take people down so easily. I mean, and he's so creative with them. Like, he probably has, like, the most creative ways to take down people. I mean, look at the takedown he did against Davison Figueiredo. Look at the way that he took down Song Yadong. You know, he's very good when it comes to taking down people, and he's a good wrestler. He's not a good submission artist, but he's a good wrestler and keeping people in that position. Now, I want to say, he's not like a top-tier wrestler. I mean, guys like Aljamain Sterling and Rob were able to hold their own and dominate him on the ground. So while he can get taken down by these top-level guys, right, he's not like getting bullied by these other guys. And honestly, this might be a hot take. Even though I'm saying Petr Yan has good takedowns and he's alright when it comes to his wrestling, I think he would beat Umar Nurmagomedov. I think, for one, he's a well better striker than Umar is. He's better at Muay Thai, and I think he would not get bullied compared to like Corey Sandhagen was when Umar tries to take him down. I think Petr Yan will actually be able to mostly survive the takedowns and get out of them pretty comfortably, and I think he would actually beat up Umar Nurmagomedov, honestly. Alright, now the final person we have here, we have Jon Jones. I fucking hate Jon Jones. I don't want to talk about him at all in these videos. I genuinely try to avoid him as much as I can. I have to talk about him because otherwise people will be wondering why is Jon Jones not here? Why is he not on this list? So Jon Jones is here. Jon Jones is pretty good. He's incredibly skilled. I think that, in all honesty, I think his best tool sets are obviously his Greco-Roman wrestling. He's very good with that. He can take down people pretty well, you know, unless you're guys like Daniel Cormier or Dominic Reyes. I mean, he took down Dominic Reyes, in fairness, but that was towards when Dominic Reyes was getting tired. And something I think Jon Jones is really good at besides his wrestling, I think his best tool set actually is his kicks. The oblique kicks, spinning back wheel kick that he did to Stipe, the head kick he did against Daniel Cormier, that was a pretty well-timed shot. I will give him that. He's very good when it comes to his tool sets. He's good with his wrestling and his kicks and his takedowns, Muay Thai. The only thing that I would say he's not as good at is his striking. I think I would honestly say he's somewhat overrated with his striking, because Stipe, a 42-year-old Stipe, who probably hasn't trained at all for this fight, if I'm going to be honest, I bet you he probably trained maybe 4 weeks at most, or something like that. He looked abysmal. He was able to do decent on the feet with Jon Jones. I don't understand it. So I think Jon Jones, honestly, the fact that he was able to get caught decently by a 42-year-old, basically 50-year-old Stipe Miocic is a bad look on him. I don't understand how he was able to get caught easily. And Stipe was his striking, mind you, was abysmal. He was just sticking his hand out a little bit and just popping it out just a little. I don't understand. It was so weird, that fight. I mean, if you can even call it a fight, it basically was just a lamb slaughter just to give Jon Jones another legacy win. A legacy win over a guy who hasn't fought in 4 years. But I won't get too much into that. I'm going to try not to. Jon Jones is pretty well-rounded. I will give him that. He has good kicks, great takedowns, great wrestling, and decent Muay Thai, I would say. But guys, that is me giving my thoughts on some of the most well-rounded fighters of current UFC. Weird video I made, I'm not going to lie. This was just a weird video I made, I'm not gonna lie. I got some better ideas if I'm not gonna lie with you. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!